AJ Lee's return is back in the headlines because of some comments, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's happening with Dominik Mysterio, Seth Rollins, and more. Starting things off with AJ Lee's WWE return. AJ's return has been something that fans have been trying to manifest for over 10 years now. However, for a majority of these last 10 years, her return seemed absolutely impossible due to CM Punk and WWE's tension. But after Punk returned in 2023, that's when AJ's return started to be talked about as an actual possibility again for the first time in a long time. Punk has been very vocal about even wanting to see AJ return to the ring himself. Bayley and several other young superstars have also begged AJ to return to the ring through social media. Even Naomi flat out said that she cannot picture a world where she retires herself without getting back in the ring with AJ. So it's not just a fan desire. You have a lot of other superstars in the locker room that want AJ's return to happen, just as bad as the fans do. One of those superstars who's really pulling for a return to the ring from AJ Lee is Zelina Vega. Zelina recently spoke with 10 Count Media, and Zelina opened up about what it could look like if AJ Lee made a return at MetLife Stadium for SummerSlam in her hometown of New Jersey. Zelina had this to say about what that would look like, quote, "I think especially because she's from Jersey, if she came back at SummerSlam, it would be like colossal. That would be insane. I feel like the fans who were so hungry for CM Punk to come back are the same ones that are going to be so hungry for her to come back. So I don't know if it's going to be bigger or, less or whatever, but I think it'll probably be about the same," end quote. And that's a quote from Zelina that has a lot of fans agreeing with. That if AJ Lee returns in New Jersey, that reception could rival CM Punk's return reception from Survivor Series 2023. So the fantasy booking of AJ's return from fans and superstars will absolutely continue until she hopefully pops back up one day. The latest on AJ's status is still the same thing it was back in January. Reports claim that WWE is willing to take her in and give her a role, that they're just reportedly waiting for her to say the word and walk through the door. AJ's schedule right now is still pretty jam-packed between movies, comic books, running her own production company, and other ventures. So it may be hard to find some free time there, but fans and superstars certainly won't abandon hope for AJ's return to the wrestling ring. Dominik Mysterio was back in the headlines this week after diving deeper into the belief that he was robbed by his own family members. This is something Dominik has alluded to in the past, but while speaking with Intoxicados, he recently went deep into the full story of how he lost the WWE money he made from appearing on television when he was a kid. He had this to say about what he still thinks went down there, quote, "I'll tell you exactly how much I got paid. I got paid $5,000. $5,000. That was just for one of the events. My parents told me. Normally, they wouldn't tell me. They would just tell me they put it into the side. They told me about this because I was asking, how much did I get paid for this? I knew something was coming. They said, you got paid $5,000. Cool, let's go to Toys R Us. I go to Toys R Us, get myself a bike, and I've always been into Universal Monsters, so they had these Frankenstein heads. Let me get a couple of those. It totaled out to maybe $400, maybe $300, if that. As soon as we got home, I'm like, can we go to Target? My mom goes, that's it. That's all your money. It probably all went to my sister's college fund, end quote. So Dominik has mentioned in reference in times past that he has no idea where his WWE money went from when he was younger, and this here was the full story. He allegedly got paid $5,000 for one of his televised appearances when he was younger, and after just one visit to a store totaling $400, his parents informed him that it was all used. So Dominik has a lot of questions about where the rest of that money ended up at. He joked it must have went to Aaliyah's college fund. Hopefully we get to hear Rey Mysterio's side of that story soon enough. The May 12th edition of Raw featured what fans understood as yet again another teasing sign that a third member is coming soon for Seth Rollins' faction. This teaser came into the opening segment, where Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker had to retreat from the ring, since they were outnumbered by Jey Uso, CM Punk, and Sami Zayn, who were all waiting for them in the ring. It's just Seth and Braun, since Heyman cannot help them out in the physical contact. So the numbers are not in Seth's favor there. If Seth had a third member, maybe they would have been able to get in the ring and contest them. Or even better yet, if Seth was able to turn one of those 3 in the ring, then that'll really count as him flipping the odds in favor. And how now all of a sudden, it'll be Seth's side with 3 and the other side with 2. So who is the one person that Seth Rollins could end up flipping? Well, all eyes continue to be strongly on Sami Zayn. Sami was the first person to confront Seth's group for the week after their debut. Seth and Sami establish how they're great friends outside of the ring, how their kids play together, and how they've always helped each other. Seth offered Sami a spot to either join him or leave him to SmackDown for a world title shot. Sami turned both of those options down, and it led to him getting beaten down. And ever since that happened, the big fan theory has been that maybe Sami will grow to regret turning down those offers, and maybe he will come back around and try to work with Seth. Sami Zayn was always eyeing the world title on Jay's shoulder a few weeks back. And even on the May 12th edition of Raw, you have Jay, Punk, and Sami all looking at Seth and Braun on the ramp, and some fans are getting nervous because Sami had a chair in his hands and was slightly standing behind CM Punk and Jey Uso, so it was the perfect opportunity to slam one of them in the back with that chair if he so pleased. Sami did not end up doing that in the moment, but fans are surely getting weird vibes there when that was going down. Some fans even went the extra mile with their analysis and matched up how Jay, Punk, and Sami were standing in the ring, and compared to how the Shield members were standing to the ring the same night of Seth's betrayal in 2014. Seth the Betrayer was standing on the same exact right-hand spot that Sami Zayn was standing at in the ring. So you had some fans that were wondering if this was simply another coincidence, or another slight nod to the idea that Sami Zayn will do the same thing Seth did all those years ago, and eventually turn on CM Punk and Jey Uso. So when it comes to betrayals and potential additions for Seth's group, Sami Zayn is very, very high on that list of potential candidates. You could see all the motivation and reasoning for Sami Zayn making that decision. Maybe Sami does see the similarities in what Seth is doing compared to what Roman did with the Bloodline. Obviously, Sami joining the Bloodline was a big career move for him that took Sami to new heights. So maybe Sami's thinking that he has the same opportunity here with Seth Rollins and his group. Some fans are also discussing the backstage segment with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. The way it was shot, the positioning of the camera, Seth sitting on the chair and speaking over to Braun, while Paul Heyman sitting in the background. It looked very similar to a Roman Reigns Bloodline backstage segment. So fans are trying to figure out if the similarities to Roman's old backstage segments was intentional or a coincidence. The similar camera angles and layout to the backstage segment and potentially adding Sami Zayn to the group, it looks like all of that is going to continue to get Seth's group compared to Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. So we'll see what they end up doing there. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.